What would you do if your dog brought home your neighbor's $2,000 rabbit? Dead? Personally, I nearly passed out. My dog, Buddy, had always been obsessed with our neighbor's rabbit, Kevin, snow white and pampered like royalty. Kevin was the pride and joy of Mike and Claire, our neighbors. They fed him organic carrots, tucked him in with Italian linen, and seemed to love him more than each other. Buddy, on the other hand, treated Kevin's cage like a daily ritual, sniffing, peering in, and acting as if he were planning the great rabbit escape. Then, one fateful day, it happened. I was sipping coffee on the porch when Buddy burst into the yard, covered in mud, with Kevin in his mouth. Kevin was, well, very dead. His fluffy fur stuck out in all directions, and his eyes stared blankly into the rabbit afterlife. I was frozen. The coffee in my mug trembled like a scene from Jurassic Park. My mind raced. How did this happen? What will the neighbors say? Mike and Claire adored that rabbit more than some parents love their children. Buddy, what did you do? I hissed, prying Kevin's lifeless body from his jaws. Buddy hung his head and whimpered, as if to say, I didn't mean to. It just happened. Too late for regrets. I nervously glanced at the fence separating our yards. If the neighbors find out, we're doomed. Buddy sat beside me, tail between his legs, watching as I frantically tried to think. I could confess, but I imagined Claire's face, who just the other day spent 30 minutes telling me about Kevin's new organic diet. No, that was too terrifying. I devised a plan, crazy and desperate, but it was all I had. All right, Buddy, we're launching Operation Rabbit Resurrection. You in? Buddy tilted his head, clearly not grasping the gravity of the situation. First, I took Kevin to the bathroom. Buddy, sensing his mistake, followed me closely, whimpering and dropping clumps of mud. I turned on warm water and grabbed the only shampoo available. Buddy's chamomile-scented dog shampoo. Hope you don't mind chamomile, pal, I muttered, lathering the lifeless body. Not that it matters now. Wash, rinse, repeat. Kevin, wet and pathetic, began to resemble a washed-up stuffed toy. Buddy, fetch a towel, I commanded. To my surprise, he grabbed one from the hook and brought it over, tail wagging. At least you're a helpful accomplice. After blow-drying Kevin, I brushed his fur like a stylist at Fashion Week. The fur refused to lay properly. Apparently, death doesn't do wonders for grooming. In desperation, I even spritzed some of my mom's hairspray to make it shine like in commercials. What do you think? Close enough? I asked Buddy, holding Kevin at arm's length. Buddy tilted his head, examining my work, and gave a soft bark. I agree, not perfect, but it'll do at dusk. Now came the hardest part, returning the revived Kevin to his cage. Waiting until dark, I donned a black hoodie and peeked out the window. The neighbor's kitchen light was on. They were having dinner. Buddy, stay quiet and act like a normal dog, not a serial rabbit killer, I warned, wagging my finger. Sneaking across my yard, I climbed over the low fence and, crouching like in a spy movie, reached Kevin's cage. My hands trembled as I opened the small door, placing the rabbit in a natural pose, paws neatly folded, carrot in mouth. I even sprinkled fresh grass to cover any signs of intrusion. Rest in peace, Buddy, I whispered, closing the door. And forgive my idiot dog. I returned home, drenched in cold sweat. Buddy greeted me with a wagging tail. Don't celebrate yet, I said, sinking into a chair. We still have to survive the discovery moment. Buddy, acting as if nothing happened, snored by the door. I couldn't sleep, listening to every creak. Then, a knock at the door. Sharp, insistent. My heart plummeted. I slowly approached, took a deep breath and opened it. There stood Mike, my neighbor. Face pale as rabbit fur, eyes wide. In his hands, an empty bottle of heart medication. Mary, he rasped, clutching the doorframe. You won't believe this. What happened? I asked, trying to look surprised and concerned simultaneously. We buried Kevin yesterday, Mike spoke slowly, as if he couldn't believe his own words. He died of rabbit fever. And now he's sitting in his cage, eating a carrot, Mary, alive. I tried to look shocked, though inside I was panicking. Buried? But how? I buried him myself under the apple tree. Mike ran a hand through his hair. And now he's there, just as white, only he smells a bit like chamomile. And his fur is shiny. Do you have any heart mitts?